Good morning, students. Hope that all of you are well by the grace of Almighty. Today, here I am, your Pallob sir from St. Gregory's High School and College, is here to describe the last lecture video of Chapter 2. In our previous lecture, we have started the general troubleshooting parts, and today, by the end up with this general troubleshooting, the chapter 2 will be completed. So let's start. There is another problem. We have already discussed different types of problems and their general solutions. So by the consequence of that, today we will also start by some problems. So the computer repeatedly acts frozen and reboot automatically. General solutions. So if the computer repeatedly acts frozen and reboot automatically, if the cooling fan set over the CPU does not move or cool the system properly, this problem occurs. In that case, switch off the power and opening the cooling fan. Check it out. If the fan is faulty, replace it. Besides, check the fan behind the CPU while the computer is running. The problem persists if the computer has any virus. Clean up every drive of the hard disk by running an upgraded antivirus. Besides, it happens due to the installation of new hardware or programming. In that case, uninstall the program and run the computer. Getting electric shock when you touch the metal part of the computer. Sometimes it happens. If you get electric shock touching the metal part of the computer, it is certain that the computer has not earthed. Calling a skilled electrician, get the computer properly earthed. The date of the computer is not rightly viewed all the time, or if any option of the BIOS is changed, it is not properly saved. These are all the common problems which we face. If the CMOS, that means complementary CMOS, that means the complementary metal oxide semiconductor battery of motherboard loses power, this problem occurs. In that case, set a new CMOS battery on the motherboard. Showing message boot disk failure or hard disk not found. For this type of problem, we have to follow some steps. The steps 1 is switching off the power. Open the casing and check the data cable, connected motherboard and hard disk drive, and check the connecting point of the power cable from power supply unit to hard disk and properly connect it. Set the jumper properly, following the jumper setting diagram on the back of the hard disk. Entering the BIOS, check whether the hard disk is detected from the options of the BIOS, either manually or automatically. If the problem is not resolved, connect your hard disk to a sound computer and check whether it works or not. If the problem persists, buy a new hard disk and install the programs you require. Get the job done by an expert hand. So these are three steps by which you can solve this problem. Showing messages like out of memory or not enough memory. If we see this type of messages, in our desktop or laptop, usually these messages are shown when you install excess programs and work keeping a lot of programs open. If the computer, so this is the first step and this is the second step. If the computer does not have sufficient memory for installing excess programs, this problem occurs. Additional RAM can be installed in the motherboard to resolve the problems. So we can sometimes the built-in RAM will sometimes it may vary from 2 GB or 4 GB. So here we have to need to install some additional RAM like 8 GB or 16 GB that will help us to resolve these types of problems. The keyboard is not working. So in this case, we can shut down the computer and check whether the keyboard is properly connected to the port. If it is not properly connected or the connection is found loose, refix it and turn on the computer again. Clean up the virus running antivirus software. If the problem is not fixed yet, install a new keyboard. The mouse is not detecting anything. So in this case, we have to check the connecting cable of the mouse to the computer and check again, refixing it. We have to change the port to see whether it works or not. We have to connecting a new mouse to the port, check it again and again. Entering the BIOS, check whether the mouse is disabled. If so, enable it and come out of the BIOS. If the problem persists, connect a new mouse to the computer. The problem will be resolved. No power is viewed on the monitor. So in this case, we have to be sure whether the power button is turned on. Check the AC power and power cord connected properly to the power outlet behind the monitor. The power of the monitor is viewed on, but there is no display on the monitor. In this case, we have to follow the steps like check the video cable, whether it is properly connected to the computer or not. If the other point of the video cable is not permanently connected to the monitor, fix it then. Adjust the brightness and contrast. If the power of the monitor is not viewed, then we have to follow these two steps. The printer is not giving any printing output. This is the common problem for the printing purpose. In this case, first of all, we have to check the power cable and then connected it to the printer. Then we have to check whether the button of the printer is turned on or not. Sometimes with our unconscious mind, we turned off the printer button. So that's the problem. We have to check if the data cable of the printer connected properly to the computer. We have to check the opening the cover of the printer, find out whether any paper is jammed inside the machine. Check whether the cartridge contains any link. Remove the cartridge and fix again after shaking it well. So cartridge contains any types of ink. So in this case we have to remove the cartridge and then fix again. After shaking it well, we have to shake the cartridge continuously. If red or yellow blinking light is shown, press the reset button of the printer. If the problem is not resolved, install the driver software supplied with the printer. Consult an experienced hardware expert. So students, these are all for chapter 2. Hope all of you will understand what we will discuss in all the lectures of chapter 2. So that's all for chapter 2, and that's all for today. In our next lectures, we'll try to describe some MCQ which is important, direct MCQ which is important for your SSC exam. So thank you everyone. Stay safe and stay at home.